Hey everybody, welcome to Ask Dr. Testosterone, starring Dr. George Tuliatos, brought to you by his books. The first one, Bodybuilding, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, gives you an amazing overview of PED use, drug profiles, stacks, side effects, good effects, everything you need to know. And then the follow-up, written this year, Training, Nutrition, Supplementation in Bodybuilding, so you know how to eat, how to train, proper supplements to use, so you put that all together and you get an awesome physique. And of course, I always hype up real bodybuilding, muscle 25 years in the trenches. All these are available on Amazon.com. This new company, Amazon, they're doing pretty well. Please welcome from Athens, Greece, Dr. George Souliatos. Welcome, Doctor.
Ron, season greetings. Hope you had a good Christmas day. I had deer and turkey.
Deer and turkey. Yeah, okay. So
Nice shirt of yours. Yeah,
can
I
you
like
can
it.
you buy deer in like the market there? You can just
No,
go out.
come on, just special, for Christmas.
Okay.
It was 10 pounds deer. I bought the whole thigh.
Nice.
It's really stiff, but it's bitter, but it's full of iron and zero fat.
Yeah, venison, they call it venison deer meat. But
But it's not hunting. It's not hunting. It's in a farm. It's farmed.
what about horse meat? Can you buy that over there?
No, in Italy, I had horse meat and burgers by horse.
I've heard
Uh,
it's really, is it really good? I've heard it's really good.
Farm horses also, or perhaps horses that retire from racing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really lean. I mean, the thigh of the horse is nothing but pure muscle.
Yeah, look at those things. So, Doc, I
Well, the
missed you in
vegans will the
Huh?
vegans will hate us.
I missed you in Orlando at the Olympia. I was hoping, obviously Giles couldn't make it. You couldn't make it. A lot of people couldn't make it through the travel bans and everything. But it was a great show. I wish you'd been there in person. It was a great
Yeah, I
Olympia.
mean, I heard that it was just 1,000 people only.
No, it was about 2,500. I would say 2,000,
2,500.
2,500. Yeah, it was pretty packed.
No masks. Were you tested before? Temperature and rapid test? No, really?
Really.
Oh,
And I feel fine now. We're doing this on a Monday. I've been back over a week. I don't have any symptoms. I hope I'm not asymptomatic carrier. I probably should go get a test, but yeah,
what are your impressions? Tell me about it. I mean, hands down was the new Mr. Olympia dominated in all front, side, rear.
I wouldn't say he dominated the way that, say, like Ronnie Coleman did for a couple of years, and there was a couple of years where Dorian really dominated. But he was still the clearly best physique up there on that day. He brought
So
better
let me tell
condition.
you, my perspective is that to the side he's unbeatable just because of his extreme thigh and
Yeah.
all these striations on the thigh. Because chest and triceps, Phil Heath was superior in the mass of triceps, or perhaps Curry in the mass of chest. But it was
Yeah.
this horse thing, like it reminded me of Coleman.
Yeah, the way the,
In
the
the,
the
in
way
the,
the
in the beginning.
hamstrings swept out and the quads
Yeah,
swept
yeah,
out.
exactly.
Yeah,
That didn't Brendan had. I mean, that size.
yeah.
Uh,
Brandon looks
Actually,
really good.
Brando was improved than last year, and I'm thinking that what if the last year Brandon came this year would be out of 5 perhaps. And we said wow that because he had a good package last year, Brandon.
Yeah,
He competed against Raleigh, Hattie, and Bonac.
yeah,
And he was not bad at all. He has the best package. But this year, the level of competition was higher because of the size of Rami. And actually, Curry was prepared for Heath, but not for Rami. I,
yeah.
I said that I hope Rami will peak at 290. That's exactly what he did. But we didn't expect him to be so big, and round.
Yeah, he looks so much
Well,
better. Well, I always said lose. I wish he would just come in a little bit lighter. I know he would look bigger. He would look better, and he did. His waist came in, so he had better V taper. His shape was just so much better than. I think he's.
nevertheless, there is some room for improvement in the back department. Lower back, perhaps the lats go down and get a little bit harder, to the quads. Um, and I believe that it's 55% bigger in the leg department than in the torso.
Yeah,
Rami, I think he dominates a little bit in his legs,
yeah.
in the mass, the size. It's
Oh, I agree.
tremendous.
I
Size.
think I asked him in an interview that wasn't used. Long story, but I said, "Do you still train your legs?" He says, "I only train them like every other week." He doesn't even
Oh
train them,
shit!
and they
Really?
still they won't get any smaller.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember Tom Platz. At one point, Tom Platz only trained his leg once a month, because he was so bottom heavy. His upper body looked small compared to those legs. And geez, when you got those leg genetics, I guess they just don't want to shrink. But man, congratulations. That's the first non-American Olympia winner we've had in 23 years.
And Muslim also, yes.
Yeah, and a Muslim.
Since
And
Banut, but Banut, I think he's Christian also.
Banut is not. Banut is a Muslim. But
Muslim? Huh.
this is the first Olympia winner from the continent of Africa, because Egypt is not Middle East, it's Africa.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah. So a lot of, let me tell you, there was a lot of he had a big crew with him, and they were all very supportive, so happy for him. He's the nicest guy. I'm very glad he won. You know, I feel bad.
The team, I mean, James trains him and pose.
Yeah.
And Chad does the rest of the stuff, huh?
Yeah. Posing actually made a big difference at this Olympia, especially Friday night, because Steve Weinberger, he had those guys do comparison over and over and over, no breaks. He would just move one guy here, and they did it all over again. Move another guy. And Rami stayed tough. He stayed tight. And, you know, the other guys are starting.
He was prepared for that. Especially Phil. He couldn't breathe. He was breathing through the stomach.
Yeah. I mean,
it was a matter of time for Rami to pick, and especially with Chad, because he's very good in big guys, like with Rami or with Dallas.
Right.
And I was also mentioning about his tiny midsection in compared to the clavicles and to the V taper, you know.
Yeah. Because his
he
waist
doesn't have up guard yet. I mean, this is crazy. Yeah?
No, his waist was looking a little wider for a minute, but it's back down. It's good.
But not blown, not blown. You know?
No, he's never had a gut, never. And that's for a guy who's 290, 300 pounds ripped. That's crazy. That's crazy. But you know, props to him. I was hoping Phil would look like Phil looked in 2010, 2011.
Phil was not bad. If we exclude the midsection, he was not bad, but he was not as sharp as 2018 and grainy to the rear, you know? Yeah. He was the similar, the casual Phil Heath, but it was not so sharp, you know?
Yeah. But
Hadi looked way better last year because he had this travel. And Hani Rambot said he had to lose 15 pounds of water because of the trip. Yes.
Ooh, 15
this
pounds.
Is 7 kilograms, you know? Can you imagine how many diuretics?
I don't know, but I was just looking at him and I said, I know he looked better last year. And then people started putting up those comparison pictures of Hadi 2019, Hadi 2020, and you could see it. It just wasn't the same. He didn't have that pop and that real brain.
Yes.
Anyway, well, Doc, we had a great interview last week with Bill Llewellyn. Thanks for arranging that. Very, very informative. If you guys haven't watched that, go back and watch it. Bill Llewellyn is one of the geniuses in this industry. You know,
now I'm trying to get Milos and Kevin and perhaps Steve. We shall see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, you're going after the A names, the big names. So, good luck, man. We'll try to bring them all to you guys. Dr. George is on the case. But we've been getting some questions, of course, from your loyal viewers around the world. We haven't had them in a couple weeks, so let's get to the first one. This is a good one. Sir, how do I control my appetite? I'm suffering from having a huge appetite. Are there any treatments or drugs to help me block my appetite?
Yes, there are two kinds of drugs. Both of them are stimulants, and one is amphetamines that they are notorious to suppress appetite. That's why they're given, but also they stimulate BMR. Yeah. But actually, they are applied amphetamines in medicine for this, for the hunger, and for stimulating basic metabolic rate and catecholamines release. And the other is the ECA stack, caffeine in combination to ephedrine, or ephedrine in combination to caffeine. They have appetite suppressor effect, you know, and they also stimulate BMR. So it's amphetamines and ECA stack. Yeah. But you have to be careful because you can have a heart attack or a stroke, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's methamphetamines are notorious for people go on these binges for days at a time where they don't even eat. They're not hungry.
Amphetamines are grade 3, I think, in the States, huh?
Oh yeah, they're bad news. Meth is a huge
cocaine
problem.
Actually, I don't recommend it, of course, but cocaine has a suppression effect. That's why the runaway fashion models sniff cocaine in order to starve all day, you know? Yeah. And remain skinny.
I think they were on heroin too for a while. They used to call them heroin chic.
Gia Garangi in 1986, yes.
Yeah, a lot of bad news.
Died of AIDS.
Okay, this question you've probably answered 30 times on the show, I bet. And we're almost at 100 episodes, guys. 4 IUs of growth hormone a day. Is it better to split morning at night or take it all at once?
Well, it depends on your goals. If you want to grow, better to spike the age of one with 4 IUs on an empty stomach in the morning. Otherwise, if you want to keep it lean, split first thing in the morning and last thing before going to bed. At night, 2 and 2.
Okay. Now, you've said before that you don't really see growth, muscle gains until you start getting to like 6 or more IUs of growth a day.
Eight actually.
8. Wow.
But I have to tell you that I've been using legitimate pharma grade genotropin from Pfizer since 2017. I'm offered this as a gift, you know.
Wow. You got better friends than me, I'll tell you that.
So listen. So I was using roughly 2 IUs all year round because I used about 1,500 IUs in 3 years. Now that I'm taking consistently every day 2 IUs, 1 a.m. and 1 p.m. From another Chinese, but it's tested, not Chinese, actually from Thailand, but it's tested in the IGF-1 and the spikes really good. I mean, it's also that I'm doing too much of free weights now during the quarantine at home.
Yeah.
But you know, people say that I grow because I'm using consistently the GH now for 3 months. You know, and my body weight's the same, 220, but I look leaner also. Yeah. But I look more round. You know, so it takes some time, and perhaps in the long term you can grow a little bit even with 4 IUs. But of course, the big gains come at 8, 16, 24, etc.
You remember there was a guy, a character called GH15.
Yeah.
He said you had to use 15 IUs a day or more.
I mean, I believe for Olympia, you shouldn't go below 8.
Yeah, I would imagine that wouldn't do much for a person at that level.
Sounds reasonable, yes.
Here's a good one. I want to try Finasteride for my steroid-induced acne on my chest and neck. What's the best dosage of Finasteride to start with? My E2 levels are also high, beyond normal range, but I don't want to use AIs again. I feel better without them, and also my blood work was better without them. So Finasteride, what's a good starting dose?
Oh, you have to know that taking Finasteride, you elevate further your estradiol, because testosterone breaks down into and metabolizes into compounds, DHT and estradiol. If you block the DHT by the 5A reductase inhibitor, the Finasteride or the dutasteride, you elevate the other pathway, you know? So you'll further elevate, and this guy has already elevated it too. So it's not a good idea. She's gonna feel crappy. And if he wants to take Finasteride for the sake of acne, I don't think if it works, but he can take another thing called azelaic acid that blocks DHT in the skin. It's a cream that burns a little bit, but it's really effective. 20% azelaic acid is a cream. And I never heard, I mean, I'm not sure if blocking DHT through the Finasteride will have an impact on acne, even though acne is dependent on DHT, you know?
I thought Finasteride was mostly used for hair loss.
Actually, yeah, exactly. And prostate enlargement also, you know? Boy. Now, for hair, we use 1 milligram, for instance.
Okay.
You know, for prostate, we use 5 milligrams.
All right. Here's a guy telling you about his cycle. We love that, don't we? Unless it's this long, and then we say no. Sorry, guys. So this guy says, I'm on cycle with my coach doing 750 tests a week, 900 EQ a week, and 450 NPP a week, all dosed Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and 0.5 liquid arimidex dosed every other day. 8 weeks, then 6 weeks. This is how the cycle looks the next 6 weeks. Test 750, EQ 900, Tren 450. Thoughts on the cycle my coach made me. It's for body recomp, then going on TRT again and grow till my show in September. It's doing amazing things and I feel fantastic, but someone said it's too much.
First of all, testosterone is low compared to the anabolics. He's going to suffer his sex drive. Now, I would substitute MPP with regular DECA, and I would do the shots twice a week and not 3 times a week because it's a waste of pinning with such slow esters. Now then, he has to elevate testosterone to 1,000 and drop the EQ pose. So make it 1,000 testosterone, 1,000 the other stuff, you know. So 500 EQ pose, 500 DECA, and 1,000 milligrams of testosterone. And then, of course, he can use some cabergoline, and of course, anastrozole. And then he replaces, I think, DECA with Tren. Yeah. Okay. Now I would substitute EQ-Pose with Primo, okay, to be leaner. But anyway, the main point is for the esters to match,
Gotcha.
So MPP doesn't match with the slow estrus, and to avoid this frequent pinning with such low estrus, it's a waste of a thing to do.
Yeah. The weird thing is, so he tells you all that cycle, and that's for body recomp, and then he's going to go on TRT and grow. I think if you're going to grow, you'd want to be on all the other. You want to do it when you're on all that gear, not when you're just on TRT. You know,
I mean, he says TRT that I suspect it's 250 and not 200.
Oh, it's probably 500.
I
got guys telling me I'm on TRT and it's 500, 600 a week. But that's, it's all in their head. They're making it up.
to avoid the PCT and the crash of the hormones.
Right.
But of course, you grow into the cycle, not after the cycle.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Dr. T, what's your opinion on test creams versus injections for TRT? Are creams effective?
Yes, of course they are, but more expensive. There is the same compound. The point is, because 90% of them are wasted, are not absorbed, it costs more to reach the same levels. And the benefit about the creams is that they increase more the DHT, so they make you more sexually aroused. Of course, a little bit more grumpy, but also the daily application has more steady levels. You avoid the crashing with injections, every 3 or 4 days. So creams are more convenient, for people who are not familiar with pinning. And you can apply the cream on your neck, on your jugular veins over here after you shave. Yes.
I never thought of
on
that.
your forearms and wrists, and on your scrotum also, but make sure you don't get a blowjob afterwards.
Make sure you don't. I mean, like people, like women are just randomly coming up trying to. That'd be awesome. Tren cough. Oh, we haven't talked about tren cough. So, can other steroids cause intense coughing as well? I've been taking 250 milligrams of underground test, 250 grams of pharma test, along with 20 milligrams D-ball, 50 milligrams Androl, and I've experienced intense coughing a couple times in a week.
Okay, the explanation of the Tren cough is dual. First of all, it has to do mainly with prostaglandins, and Trenbolone stimulates the prostaglandins, that the inflammatory cytokines that Bill Welling also was explained last week.
Yeah. Now,
these prostaglandins that stimulate inflammation, that's why you feel shitty when you inject Tren, and you feel kind of sick. They stimulate, of course, also muscle inflammation, but prostaglandins do bronchospasm. They narrow the bronchi. So your VO2 max drops and your cardio sucks. You cannot perform cardio while on Tren. So it's not a good idea for cyclists or marathon runners to do Tren, of course. So this is number one. And number two is the benzolium, which is an alcohol-based solution in order to sanitize the oily amp, That's a little bit of bronchospasm, So I experienced this with cypionate, a little bit of I don't think cypionate was mixed with Tren, of course. Tren is way more expensive. So I experienced a little bit of coughing. Number three is if you inject abruptly, fast, rapidly, the solution into your butt, it may enter a little bit of oil, into the vein. And then you have this kind of slight embolism because all the veins rush the blood up to the pulmonary arteries, That's
scary.
And you have this kind of a little bit of embolism and coughing, So these three factors, but I guess also the benzone, that if you smell benzone, it's really itching to the nose, burning sensation, like chlorine, like bleach,
Yeah. Yeah, I can honestly say I've had that cough from many other times when it wasn't Tren. So it must be the benzyl. And a lot of times I can inject it and then I can taste it at the same time. It's creepy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's creepy. Okay, more cycle stuff. I ended my cycle on Wednesday, got my blood work back, and my E2 is 216 PMO L over L. The reference range stops at 161 PMO over L. I'm using 0.5 milligrams of arimidex every other day and don't feel too much of estrogenic sides, maybe a little water retention. At what E2 level is it actually risky to develop gyno? My total test was only 984 NG over DL. My free test was 347 PMOL over L. How can that be explained?
Okay, gynecomastia is not only the result of elevated estradiol, but also compared to low DHT that has antiestrogenic activity, elevated prolactin, and elevated also IGF-1. So by using too much of growth hormone and having elevated prolactin by stress, or hypothyroidism or opiates, and by having low DHT, that means you don't use proviron, you don't use masteron, you don't use danazol for it. These two agents, you may experience this puffiness and soreness on your nipples, So it's also the ratio between testosterone, DHT, and estradiol that lead to the gynecomastia. So if you have elevated estrogens, you better have elevated androgens also to avoid gyno. Gyno comes when you have elevated estrogens with low androgens. So androgens are kind of protective when estrogens are high. So the ratio has to be kept properly. The same applies for the prostate enlargement. I have experienced bodybuilders with taking 1,000 milligrams of testosterone and having estradiol 3-digital, but they do not experience gynecomastia, perhaps because the ratio is proper, because also prolactin is low, because DHT is high, because IGF-1 is low. So it's multi-factorial.
Yeah, right on. Yeah,
now, if you experience gyno, you better take Nolvadex. If you have already gyno, okay? Because the aromatase inhibitor is kind of preventive before starting getting any gyno. As soon as you develop gyno, you have to to occupy the receptor for the floating estrogens, avoid going and sitting on the receptor.
So how far does the gyno have to go before you need surgery, before Nolvadex is not going to help?
I had gyno this summer before going to Crete for vacation. I injected a larger dose of DECA and testosterone and HG because I didn't want to carry it together. Yeah. And the day after, I had gyno, and I was using 40 milligrams of Nolvadex for 4 days to get rid of it,
And it did? You got rid of it?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It was really painful. I was getting laid with a girl, and she was looking at my nipple, I was so embarrassed.
See, back off, babe. All right, here's an odd question. How much oil can you inject into the shoulder, glute, chest, and lats as safely as possible without too much pain? I noticed 2 cc seems to be a bit much for my shoulders, maybe, but I got to inject 3 days a week and split up 4 cc's on each day.
Well, it depends. If you're a big Rami, you can inject 10.
Yeah, if your shoulder's this big.
To me, I believe that 1 ml twice a week is good for my rear delt.
Yeah.
So 2 ml over here and 2-4, and in my butt, I can inject 5 ml twice a week.
Wow.
But not for a long time.
Wow.
After a couple of weeks, it gets packed and abscess.
5 ml, that's a lot of oil to push in at once. Woo.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot for once a week. Once a week.
I was gonna say, because standard needles that most people use are 3 cc's. So
you can get 5.
Oh yeah, you can get 10. You can get
5 for a gorilla bat. It's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I do have a giant ass. I have a question about training. Finally, something not about drugs. I have a home gym. I do chest workout at 9 a.m. Then at 1 p.m. I do a back workout. Then at 3, I do shoulders. At 6, I do arms. Good. Does this guy have a job? The following day, I do HIIT cardio on a Caroli bike, whatever that is, for 8 minutes. Then I do legs. Wow, this is all 2 days in a row. I then take the next day off. I start the workout cycle again. Is the way I'm working out productive or counterproductive?
This is destructive and it's a crap.
Wow, where did you... I should have asked the question. I'm not making fun of you, sir, whoever you are, but where did you get this idea? Did you come up with this on your own? Did somebody tell you this was a good idea? This is crazy.
Even if you are taking all the drugs of the world, you cannot recover in this.
So in 1 day, he does chest, comes back and does back, then does shoulder. He does 4 workouts for upper body in 1 day. Then he does legs the next day. Yeah, that's a lot, guys. Split it up a little bit. Come on.
Do you remember the process of the 90s where we're sparing AM and PM, 2 different seasons?
Yeah, but that'd be like shoulders in the morning, arms at night. They weren't doing like chest. This is 4 times a day. This is crazy. I hope I'm not offending you, sir, whoever wrote the question, but that's just a crazy, crazy way to work out. Split it up like normal bodybuilders do. The bro split, push-pull legs, or chest 1 day, back another day. This is great. You could be all the drugs in the world. You could sleep 12 hours a day. You could eat 10 times a day. There's nobody I don't think that's going to do well on that for very long. That's just a lot. Whew. Okay, next question. In my country, whatever country that is, farmer grade Pregnal will not be available soon. Instead of this form of HCG, there's some info that Ovitrel will be introduced. Do you have any suggestion how to replace Pregnal by Ovitrel with Ovitrel?
Yeah, Orbitrol is a pen that is filled up with 6,000 IUs. Now, it comes in a pen that has clicks. So there's around, clicks. Now, one click equals 250 IUs. So then you can adjust and manage how much you want to do, how often, etc.
Yeah, that's like those genotropin pens. Very expensive, but man, that's a very convenient way to do it if you can do it. And insulin comes in those pens too that you do the clicks. Oh boy, here's a long one. You didn't knock this question out, so I'm assuming we're going to ask it about the insulin. I've been researching.
No. I'm sorry. Get it out because no. Next time, Ron, you didn't listen to me. I told you to
13, 14, 15.
Exclude, I think, 3 or 4.
Yeah, I thought I'd do. How about the dry joints is not an issue? Is it okay to use Winstrol? Was that okay? This should be our final question, unless I was supposed to get rid of this one too. If dry joints are not an issue, is it okay to use Winstrol instead of Proviron to control the aromatase enzyme a bit and free up testosterone?
Why don't you use an aromatase inhibitor? Why don't you use Oxandrol or Winstrol will crash on your HDL? Will elevate your liver enzymes. This is not a good idea.
Yeah, I guess you just wanted to use Winstrol. Some people think Winstrol is magical. It is,
but if one is so destructive to the jaw, to the lipids and to the liver,
Yeah, I mean,
it's an acid. Right?
I mean, people ask me, how many, how do I use Winstrol? I've only used Winstrol like twice in my life out of many, many, many cycles.
It's miraculous. If you are super dry, it can make you look so veiny and muscular,
Yeah.
And give you energy, ATP, and holds 0 water,
I never gave it a chance. Sorry, Winstrol, my bad. Anyway, Doc, that is all our questions for this week. We're going to have a special guest next week. We're not sure who yet, guys. It's going to be a surprise. We're working on a couple people.
We're under strong negotiation,
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough time of year, guys. This is our last show of 2020, by the way. So goodbye, 2020.
95, I have 5 more.
We won't miss you, 2020. You're a horrible year.
At the 100.
People are gonna have a party when it's just January 1st, 2021, just because this year's over. This is like the COVID year. This is horrible.
And the 2020 comes with a COVID at the 0. And 2021 comes with a vaccine.
A vaccine. Did I already ask you this, Doctor? You must be getting the vaccine soon, right?
Of course, absolutely. I will record my vaccination live on Instagram.
Yeah.
I have to give a good example, Ron.
You gotta tell us if there's any horrible side effects you experience too.
Are they waiting for me to die in order to do it?
I hope the vaccine doesn't kill more people than COVID. That would be, geez, what a twist that would be.
It's the only way to kill this pandemic, because if you're waiting for the cure and the treatment by medication, it's already too late. The point is to stop the contamination,
Yeah.
And the spread.
Let's all hope for the best, guys. Let's hope for the best. We got all the top minds in the world working on this stuff, so we're doing everything we can. Anyway, Doctor, that was show 95. Coming up on 100 shows. Good God. Guys, for the Doctor, if you want to leave your questions, put them in the comments below. Please, if you like these videos, share them. Share them on your Facebook, your Instagram, whatever. Get the word out, because the Doctor's doing a great service here for you guys. This is information you would have to pay gurus for. You'd have to go to a medical doctor, and they probably wouldn't even have the answer.
I sold my rights to Italy, so the book is going to be translated into Italian and be released there by next year.
Okay. So you guys over in Italy can finally get some knowledge from the Doctor too. But unless you already read English, you could get the English-speaking version. And yeah, that's it, Doctor. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And do we have an article tomorrow or today?
Perhaps about some stem cells.
Okay, we'll see. So, guys, check out every month in Muscular Development Magazine. Doctor has a column there, and he also puts out a new article almost every Tuesday. I'd say 9 times out of 10 on the musculardevelopment.com website. Anyway, thanks, guys, for watching. The last episode of 2020 for Ask Dr. Testosterone. We'll see you next time.